In a small, dusty town at the edge of nowhere, people had grown used to seeing the same sight every morning. An old man with a tattered hat walking slowly down Main Street with a thin, tired-looking dog by his side. His jeans were torn, his boots were cracked, and his back was slightly bent from years of hard work and harder living. Most people didn't even look twice. To them, he was just another forgotten soul. One of those men who'd outlived their purpose and wandered the earth waiting for it to end. His name was Henry, but few remembered that anymore. And the dog? They called him Scout, a half-starved German shepherd who followed Henry like a shadow, loyal to a fault. But what no one knew, what no one even tried to know, was that behind their worn faces and weary eyes was a story that would soon shake the entire town to its core. Before we dive deeper into this powerful story of loyalty, redemption, and truth, take a moment. If you believe in kindness, second chances, or the unbreakable bond between humans and animals, then please like, comment, share, and subscribe to Pawsitive Tales. Your support helps us keep sharing stories that remind the world what truly matters. Henry had once been someone people looked up to. A decorated rodeo rider in his younger years, his name used to echo through the dusty arenas across Texas and Oklahoma. He'd won trophies, championships, and hearts. But life, as it does, had a way of humbling even the strongest spirits. His wife passed away suddenly one winter, and his only son left town soon after, chasing dreams Henry didn't understand. When the rodeo shut down after an accident that left him with a bad knee, everything crumbled. The cheers faded. The friends disappeared. The spotlight turned off. By the time he met Scout, Henry was living out of a broken trailer on the outskirts of town. Scout was nothing but bones and skin back then. A stray he'd found rummaging through garbage behind an old diner. Everyone told him the dog was beyond saving, but Henry didn't listen. He saw something in Scout's eyes, the same loneliness that stared back at him in the mirror every night. So he took the dog home, fed him scraps, and talked to him like he was family. Days turned into weeks, and soon the two became inseparable. Wherever Henry went, Scout followed. They worked odd jobs together, hauling hay, fixing fences, and cleaning barns. People laughed sometimes, calling Henry the man who thought his dog could work, but Henry didn't care. Scout wasn't just a dog. He was the only living soul who made Henry feel alive again. Then came the day that changed everything. It was a bright Saturday morning at the county fairgrounds, the same arena where Henry had once been the crowd's favorite rider. The annual rodeo competition was underway, and the stands were packed. Henry wasn't there to compete, of course. Those days were long gone. He was just there to watch from a distance, maybe relive the memories that time had stolen. He stood quietly by the rail with Scout at his feet, both of them unnoticed by most of the crowd. That's when the shouting started. A commotion near the entrance drew everyone's attention. A security guard was arguing with someone, and that someone was Henry. The guard claimed Henry had brought a stray, diseased dog onto the grounds. Scout, though thin, was calm, his eyes gentle, tail low, body trembling not from aggression, but fear. But the guard didn't see that. To him, it was just an old mutt that didn't belong there. The argument grew louder. People started whispering, some recording on their phones. Henry tried to explain, his voice shaking but firm. This dog wasn't a threat. He was his friend, his partner, but no one cared. Then just as the guard reached for Henry's arm to escort him out, something happened that silenced the entire arena. A terrified scream echoed across the stands. One of the rodeo bulls had broken loose from its pen, a massive, furious animal charging straight toward a group of young men standing near the open gate. Panic erupted. People ran in every direction, and right in the bull's path was a boy, no older than 16, frozen in terror. Before anyone could react, a blur of brown and black shot across the dirt. It was Scout. The half-starved, unwanted dog sprinted faster than anyone thought possible. He reached the boy just in time, barking and throwing himself toward the bull's head. The collision sent Scout tumbling across the ground, but the distraction gave the boy a chance to run. Within moments, rodeo staff managed to corner the bull and bring the chaos under control. When the dust settled, everyone's eyes turned to the motionless figure lying in the arena. Henry dropped to his knees beside Scout, tears streaking down his weathered face as he whispered the dog's name over and over. The crowd that had laughed at them hours ago now stood in stunned silence. Even the guard, the same one who had tried to kick them out, couldn't move. Minutes later, the vet rushed in and examined Scout. Miraculously, he was still breathing, battered and bruised but alive. The boy he saved turned out to be the son of one of the event organizers, the same man who once mocked Henry for being the washed-up cowboy with the useless dog. That day, the man approached Henry, eyes wet, voice shaking, and said something no one expected. "Your dog's a hero, and so are you." Word spread fast. News crews came, photos were taken. The story of the old man and his dog became local legend overnight. People who had once turned away now lined up outside Henry's trailer, offering food, money, and help. But Henry didn't care about fame or pity. All he cared about was Scout, lying on an old blanket, tail wagging weakly whenever Henry called his name. In the following weeks, something beautiful happened. The community built Henry a small cabin close to town. The rodeo board, moved by Scout's bravery, announced a new annual award in his name, the Scout Medal of Courage, given to anyone, human or animal, who showed extraordinary bravery. And every year after that, Henry stood in that same arena, holding Scout's leash, his heart full of pride. But perhaps the most touching moment came months later, when Henry's estranged son returned home after seeing the story online. He stood at the cabin door, tears in his eyes, whispering, "Dad, I didn't know." Henry didn't say much. He just smiled and called Scout over. The dog, though older now, walked straight to the young man and nuzzled his hand. No anger, no grudges, just forgiveness. From that day on, they weren't just an old man and his dog anymore. They were a symbol, a reminder that heroes don't always wear uniforms, and that sometimes the purest kind of love comes from a heart that has been broken but still chooses to care. If this story touched your heart, if it made you believe again in loyalty, kindness and second chances, please like, comment and share this video. And don't forget to subscribe to Pawsitive Tales for more true, heartwarming stories that remind us all what really matters in life. Special request in the comments below, write, "Thank you, Scout," to honor every animal who gives love and loyalty, even when the world doesn't see their worth.